What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here. Thanks for coming to another Addict show, the show where we talk about anything pretty much in the industry. I got my co-host with me. It's kind of weird, Cognito. I'm the co-host of yours, and you're the co-host of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Lord Cognito
back. No doubt.
And I got 3-Minute Gamer.
Damn, you had to say that name. Damn, you can't say 3MG.
I mean, come on, man.
Damn.
So hold on. I can't say 3MG. I have to say 3MG.
Because dog, like the 3-Minute Gamer was the exposed name.
The exposed name. I mean, if you let them give you that power, then I guess it is exposing you.
At this point,
I thought that name. I like that name. But 3MG. There you go. So let me bring up the floor plans. This ain't gonna be too long. I had a couple brief things going over. I definitely wanted to go over what your guys' E3 predictions are in general, and then then I want to get into the meat potatoes of Microsoft's. They don't really have a whole lot going on when it comes to show floor. If I remember correctly, Lord Cognito, it's even smaller than it was last year, is it not?
Yeah, very much more. I mean, last year they had the the South Hall, I believe, and it kind of equivalent to them having their own day, which was kind of different last year, and then there was a lot of third parties around, if you remember. Back then, I believe we had a speculation video going on in reference to what Destiny might do, if you remember. That was part of our...
Completely wrong.
We were completely off. But it was a good theory. It was a good theory based on...
Last year, we kind of did the same video last year, 3MG, and it was pretty much like, we think Destiny 2 Xbox is going to have the marketing rights because, okay, to be fair... that video ended up like getting some hits. It got like 7,000 views, and everything we said was like it was accurate. Like that's at that time where people started really highly playing. They started playing a lot of executives of Microsoft just randomly started playing Destiny. They started promoting it all the time, and I was like, there's a good chance that they picked up that rights, and they're not really saying nothing. And guess what was right across the platform in the hall? 3MG. Yeah. It was Activision.
Oh man, dude.
So, but we were wrong. We took that L.
We was extra. We was sleuthing.
I remember how it looked too, because it was weird. Like compared to Sony's and Nintendo, like it reminded me of Nintendo's area because they kind of like closed it off. Yeah. Like it was like with the wall, everything was being covered because with Sony it was more open, and then like Xbox, it was more closed in. And as soon as you walked in, even the floor was different and shit. I was like, what the hell? But then they had like their little exclusives all around. They had the controllers on one section. They had the statues on the other. Then they had all the games lined up. But if it's smaller than that, that's crazy because, that's small.
It's smaller than that, but I do want people to, the big platform that was around it because they kind of isolated it off from everyone else. If you guys remember, it had that like big, I wouldn't say cardboard because it was clearly metal or something, but something was wrapping around the entire, the Microsoft stage. Remember, it was big and green. Remember that? Like there's a couple of, like that was actually part of the their area they had. So I definitely want to, I'm curious if, I can't say that, they can't wing it. I'm definitely a little bit concerned how small it is because that makes me think that they have less to show than they did at E3. But then, what did they show a lot about? I mean, they did have the most games and they had the most games on stage at E3 last year. So you can't really go a whole lot by the stage, but still, man, like that is
kind of curious now. I'm kind of like, because now it makes me curious because remember when I was at the conference last year, the thing that I joked on it, but then again, I was like, this is going to be great because of like whether or not there's exclusivity rights to maybe promotions and marketing. But remember, you had like Metro Exodus that was an exclusive premiere. I think, what was it that they say? They said, I don't know, because they had like the way they were phrasing the exclusivities and everything right before the trailer.
Yeah, they had that special terminology.
Yeah, so that kind of threw me off. But now it got me wondering if the venue is smaller, which I'm hoping. I'm kind of upset that it is because remember, I'm not upset that I don't care if it's like a little cubicle. I'm gonna go in that bitch and I'm gonna play these games. I'm gonna try it out and I'm gonna speak to whoever I can. But it's more or less like how packed is that gonna be? That's what I'm concerned about. But also, what games are gonna be there? I know the exclusives, but then remember they had a lot of deals with a lot of like third party studios.
That's my point. Is I feel like maybe that since they shot all those third party accessories, maybe this year they're going to focus on quality and not quantity. You know, they'll have like, but then again, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what E3 is. For the most part, when they announce stuff at E3, it comes out the following year. There's very few times where Microsoft's announced something at E3 and it comes out that year, like Rare Replay, games like that. I mean, is there any other games you guys can think that they've done it both at the same thing?
Not many.
Wait, of what?
Where they've announced a game and it comes out that same year. Rare Replay, and I think the Master Chief Collection is technically one.
Yeah,
I don't recall. Yeah, I don't really recall though. From what I remember, it's mostly like a third-party studio that might have done that. Like if it was like a Call of Duty title, a Battlefield being announced that is coming out this year. But as far as Sony or Microsoft, I don't even recall them. Maybe like you said, Rare Replay. That's about it.
So Master Chief. That's the part that gets me. Sure, you know, they could be playing the games, but they just don't do that a whole lot. They don't show games. And then and then it comes out that later. So if it's not coming out that year, I don't think there's going to be playable demos on the stage floor.
Yeah, it seems like they're taking a different approach. I mean, I got theory on it too. It's like also we got to keep in mind that now that they're going in this whole direction of games as a service and Game Pass, you know, I think they may be looking at it from a real estate standpoint that they don't need as much. And then even last year, their philosophy was different, right? They actually separated their conference day away from Sony and had it that day earlier so that the Xbox One X can kind of have the floor to itself. So it just seems like a philosophy change. And I am concerned though that it looked wild small. Like
I haven't seen it. If you guys got
I'm trying to look for it right now.
Like last year, don't get me wrong. Like I understood that they were not in the same hall as the original. I forgot which hall it was, where you had Nintendo and Sony dominating.
Yeah, they were completely different.
Right, they were in a different hall completely. So I understood that. But when I looked at if you look at the space that they have now in that hall compared from 2017 to now, it's wow small. It looked like third-party publisher small.
What I'll do is I'll show 2017 first.
Yeah, facts.
Damn, I have to see then because that's crazy.
Yeah, because you gotta check it. It looks a little concerning.
Yeah, okay. Here's 2017. Is this it? Let me go ahead and look. Yeah, because you know there's like 4 different buildings to this motherfucker, so I had to actually find which one because Microsoft was in a completely different building than Sony.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off. I didn't even realize that.
Well, I think they wanted space. That's the thing. I think they wanted space, and they wanted to, and like you said, separate themselves, give themselves a day of space, so everybody can digest what they saw, and then when Sony comes out the next day, they can say, okay, because if you remember the E3 before, when they came out the same day as Sony, it was kind of like everybody had just came from the Microsoft conference, going into the PlayStation or the Xbox conference, going to the PlayStation conference, and then it really hurt them in a way because it was like, wow, okay, you showed your hand, then Sony showed their hand. They had this big orchestra and all this crazy stuff, and so I think it was smart for them to separate themselves and kind of put themselves on a different day. That was smart. That was smart.
Yeah.
So I guess
I made a joke saying something about it'd be interesting to see if Microsoft did something like a treehouse kind of thing where they may not do a full E3 kind of stage presentation to a certain extent, kind of go the way Nintendo's going, because I think some companies are going to start doing that because it seems to be working for Nintendo, but I could see companies going towards that, not having this huge conference and having more like a treehouse kind of event, doing more of a scripted video thing, because then you can't mess up.
That's a good point, bro. Because like you see, like now, like I don't know, like the E3 real estate. Not that it doesn't have any value like it did anymore, but I'm seeing companies, especially third parties like EA Play, Bethesda, Ubisoft. These guys are having their own shows and presenting the way they want to present outside of it. So I don't know if it's
all right. I have last year's up on the screen now.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it doesn't look that small from last year.
This is Microsoft's. Okay, they're I think they're in the same building this year too, aren't they?
Because same spot.
Yeah, except for they're over to the left a little bit. I'll bring up the new one here. So keeping a good idea, good mental evaluation. Did you guys notice that Sony moved theirs into this building this year?
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny because like it's like they didn't like Microsoft having the whole building to themselves.
Yeah. You gotta come in there strong.
I can go down a little bit, you know, if they have accurate pictures, because sometimes regardless if you put in there you want to see 2017, these motherfuckers trying to sneak like 16 and 15 in here.
I could definitely tell which year it was because I went to most of those. But you know what else might be?
That's last year.
That's last year.
Yeah, that was definitely.
And I mean, look at this. Like what you see you know, that picture up here, it doesn't look like that, you know, like it's that big, but if you're actually there, it's a lot bigger than it looks.
Right.
But it's like I said, regardless how you put it, you know, it's still concerning. Now, while you guys talk, I'll find the new one.
I was gonna say, to be quite honest, now I'm thinking about it, I'm really not concerned because it's Microsoft to then pull off this stunt where they'll all right, the venue's small, but watch them soon announce that they're hosting a even bigger event. Remember, they had the whole they had a big event before the conference. Before the conference at E3, which I wasn't even able to get because I didn't even know that was happening, and only several people was able to like get like a ticket. You know, you wasn't able to win a raffle ticket, whatever. But it sounds like because there's no way like Microsoft. There's a lot of third-party exclusive deals. They got their games that they need to broadcast, that they need to showcase, and there's a lot of other stuff that they want to announce, software and tech-wise. It wouldn't make any sense to have a small venue like that. Of course, they're gonna have their conference in their Microsoft convention or whatever, but then to actually have the showroom floor, I'm pretty sure they might actually have or host like an even bigger venue that's aside from E3, just for the because they always like catering now, like for the last couple of years has been a thing that they like to cater to the gamers as much as they can. That's why they started that kickstarting of like this big event at the convention center.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that, MJ, because again, it seems to be the philosophy change, right? When last year, when the Xbox One X and everything, they wanted their own dedicated day, and I think they may repeat that with the Sunday kind of a bill. But I see Addict, he's got the new. Yeah, look.
I don't like how that's looking though. Like that's little, yo.
That looks sus.
And you know, that's over there where you know the Ubisoft, and you got to keep in mind. You know, they can make this whole area completely empty if they wanted to. So, like, you know, every year you go, it looks completely different because, you know, they switch around panels, they switch around, you know, from different kind of promotions. I mean, here's a good possibility. Let's be real here. Maybe Microsoft's throwing away that I don't really fuck with third parties, and they're going to do nothing but third-party deals this year. And that's why they're around all the third parties.
Interesting.
That's crazy, dog.
What you got, Frog? What you got?
Oh man, that's a good possibility. I mean, I don't really, you know, that and how I look at, you know, the whole Xbox Foundation is when they came into the game, they had slight kind of problems with third parties. They went after people, but with the 360, it was all about third party marketing deals. And that's what they built that console off of. And I think that the identity of Xbox 360 was built off of third party. You had your Halos, you had your Gears, and you had your Fable. But whenever when I bought an Xbox, I was like, well, I'm buying it because I get to play Halo, you know, and I get to play the third parties in the best place to play. And then, you know, like I tell the story all the time. The only thing that made me switch to PlayStation 3 was the Red Ring of Death because the console wasn't, you know, dependable to me. So I said, well, you guys both have the same games, you know, except for the exclusive. So I'll just go to Sony and play the third party games and the first party games. And then when I eventually got into the Xbox, I played my first party games, but I didn't trust the system. As far as hardware, it was never really their software. But when I look back at it now and I look at Microsoft, I say, man, they had a huge amount of third-party deals, and the marketing for third-party was crazy. It was crazy.
You know what I noticed? Look on there on the top, the right of that map. Look who's there. That kind of interests me a little bit. Why are they there?
Epic Games?
Epic?
Is it Fortnite, or are they doing some more stuff with Fortnite?
I don't know. I mean, Fortnite. I know you heard the new big thing that Fortnite's gonna do a 60 frames mode capped.
I got a feeling about that too. Yeah, about something big. Yeah, they might host
something.
Yeah, to be quite honest, it's hard to cut you off. Just
no, go ahead. I'm
thinking about it now. Who is this? And Lord, I'm gonna need this image. This shit is crazy. I need to save it somewhere.
Yeah, look how small it is, man.
But hold up. There's Microsoft. Oh no, I'll just switch back and forth between.
You switch back and forth.
It's like, and Square Enix is very little. Jesus. What the hell, yo? So like with
this was last year's.
That was last year's, and then this was look.
Yo, real time, it kind of look like Microsoft got like a cubicle.
It looks like that's their really press pack. It looks like that's their press. Like, hold on, if I could, there was a picture, man, where
Square Enix is right here. I'm sorry.
Wasn't it in the Planet Xbox chat, like it showed a better picture. It showed Microsoft.
Yeah.
And I kid you not. I shit you guys not. Sony's press VIP section was bigger than this section on Microsoft.
Yeah, that's pretty
what
small.
is Take-Two doing there? Hey, hold on. Take-Two, isn't that Red Dead or GTA?
That's
well, you know they're gonna push it.
Red Dead, you know that's gonna be
okay. So that's there. Epic Games might be hosting something specific. They might even announce custom modes or some shit. But I'm kind of confused as to why PlayerUnknown ain't here, or unless this is just a one building.
This is just one building.
This one building.
No,
Yeah,
it's just one building.
Yeah, Sony and Nintendo, like Nintendo spot is crazy big.
Warner Bros is kind of big too.
Yeah, Square's gonna. Ubi's gonna have a presence, man. At Namco, Bethesda as usual.
It was everywhere, man. I can't find it anywhere now. That image was everywhere yesterday. Could you find me one, B?
Which one?
The image that had the Sony and the market, they like had them merged together a little bit. Where
you talking about
difference in size?
Oh, you talking about like off E3 Pass? Or
yeah,
you talking about...
no E3 the floor plan this year.
The floor plans, I saw that too.
It's not in the Planet Xbox anymore. I think he deleted it because he got tired of people talking about it.
I'll see if I can try to pull it up too.
Hey, shout out the kid, man. You know, he loves Xbox. I love it too. I love the brand.
Yeah, there's a little mini war going on in Planet Xbox chat right now.
Yeah,
what's going on? What's going on?
Oh man,
wait, really? Where at right now?
In the chat of Planet Xbox.
Oh no.
Oh man. You know, but since they put that number out there of, you know, and I know I was the one that said it. Hey, this is how many I think have sold. And no, there's no way it could be 30-something million. No way. I said, look, man, like when EA had that call and they accidentally announced
it's deleted. That page is deleted.
Yeah, it's
Someone
gone.
Deleted that.
Someone deleted it. Yeah, I was just about to tell you that. It's gone.
Yeah, when EA had that conference and they said, look, Xbox got about this many consoles sold, and they said it by accident, people got wind of it, and that was in the beginning of 2016. I gotta believe they sold 15 million more consoles between then and now. Like, why is that not feasible? Like, think about PlayStation numbers compared to Xbox numbers.
Hey, you know, I do want to say that, you know, it's Microsoft's fault for not announcing. Let's be real here. Can everyone stop saying Xbox is sold 35 million? You know how long I've heard people say they're at 35 million for like a year and a half to 2 years.
I would say that sounds feasible though, because think about it.
2016. The last time they announced it, 3MG was like what, 32 million?
Yeah, it was like 32 million.
Actually had numbers
what
that
year
Microsoft
was that last
announced.
year?
No, it was the year before last.
It was the year before, but I'm just confused. Like, why won't they just say the amount? Like,
I know, like, stop letting people. You think it's so 35.
I'm gonna tell you why I think they're not gonna say numbers, and this is the reason why is because Smooth said it. I think he said it, and I wouldn't think it was Smooth or Jazz. And now, matter of fact, I think it was Jazz. He said they're just going with subscription based things. Like that's how Microsoft kind of always has been. Is it kind of like this many headshots, this many freaking prone positions, this many grenades, this many, and that's what they're gonna start doing.
They've been more of like a stat type of
and it's gonna, and especially with the Game Pass coming now, we're never gonna know how many copies of a game actually sold because as long as they're making money off of Game Pass, and they say, well, X amount of people subscribe to Game Pass, and they download XYZ Sea of Thieves game, and it's like, oh, we had this many people playing Sea of Thieves and downloading Sea of Thieves. You know, for them it looks good. You know, it looks good, and you know, it makes kind of, in a sense, it can be one of those things that makes the competition look like, well, we had this many people download the game, and you know, and is it going to make them money as long as they have the content? Yes.
I want to say something about that Game Pass because I think excuse my language, but there's some fucking idiots out there who just assume like Game Pass ain't like the wave or going to be the wave. Like I'm gonna be real honest. People are like, oh, they're gonna go subscription based. Do you not understand how many outlets already went? Where's cable at today? Where are we with cable? Cable,
facts.
You have YouTube
to go down like Blockbuster.
That's what
they literally do.
No,
and it's crazy. No, and the thing is this: I already know the flaws of what happened with with Xbox already. But this is besides the point. Their Game Pass subscription is not because they're in struggle mode. I think the Game Pass thing was just another. That's another tactic. That's like a future-proof type of thing. Like,
I totally agree.
And I'm tired of people thinking like, oh, like because I always used to joke and say, "Now they're doing this backwards compatibility because they ain't really got nothing else right now at the moment to really give out." And I was always saying that, but this one in particular, this is more or less like, yo, they're making sure that they're already ahead of the game because Ubisoft is going to end up doing it. Origin Access is already doing it. PlayStation is going to have to jump on the wave. It doesn't matter how many sales their copy of games get. If they start noticing that a subscription-based service is making a certain amount of revenue. Now, I do question that part because I don't know necessarily how, you know, say if a first party studio makes a game for them, how does the whole revenue gets recouped and paying back an investment? I don't have no knowledge of that, but what I know, I know Netflix say they're in billions of dollars of debt right now, but they get that money back because obviously they make the smart investment of putting out a certain type of Marvel show or a season of a certain Netflix original and or a Netflix comedy original. They get that money back, but that's how subscriptions work. So I'm just like, why do people assume like they're doing this off of struggle? I think this is actually going to benefit.
My only that because for me, like I'm like I think Game Pass is good for the consumer. It's not good for me yet, and the reason it's not good for me yet is because
aren't you a consumer though?
Well, what I'm saying is, me as a consumer, I have a big installed base of games on my console. I buy the first party games for Xbox.
Right.
So for me, my whole problem with this, and this is just me, and my thinking is like, okay, let's say I get Sea of Thieves, and let's just say the game comes out, and this is just how I think. I buy the game. I know I want to play it. I want to try that. I want to see what separates this game from being on the Xbox only from a Microsoft developed studio, and I get it. And now people get on Game Pass. Let's just say they like, okay, I tried it, whatever, and the numbers decrease and dwindle so much. Like, then my user base or the user base for me as a person who bought the game, it just dwindles down. It's kind of like, and I think that can happen with some games. And that's why I say the content is really gonna depend on it. And I'm not saying I'm just putting Sea of Thieves particularly because it's the first game, but the content's gonna depend on if that game comes out and it's just getting. You know, let's just say it's a Metacritically acclaimed, a solid 7, right? That game, people on Game Pass, it might not have a large multiplayer if it has multiplayer features or fan base on there. So, you know, for me, I'm like, I see what they're doing. It's smart, but I'm like, geez, man, like, I don't want to invest in Game Pass because I buy their first party games. And then if they only have 3 first party games come out a year, like it's the difference with Sony where I'm like, shoot, man, you got too many games coming out and I can't spend money on all. I just look at their games from the beginning of this year to the end of this year to the guarantee coming out. I'm like, I wish they had something that because it would benefit me.
I hate to interrupt you, but okay,
no,
I got something really bad to show now.
Oh God.
You guys ready for this?
Yeah, let me see this, man.
This is last year on Sony and Nintendo.
Oh shit!
Ooh, wow! Ooh, gosh.
Sony might be the same this year. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like,
yeah,
they might be the same or even less.
But it's really blurry.
Wait, you have this year?
It's really blurry though. That's this year.
Ooh, is that official?
Like, yes, that's official. That came from their website itself.
Nintendo looking kind of normal too.
Look, I told you. Look at the Sony VIP conference, the one in the blue.
Oh yeah,
the same size as the whole Microsoft one,
or a little bit
probably bigger.
I think it's bigger actually.
And why is Sega of America there?
Why is Sega America bigger than the Microsoft conference?
I don't understand that.
I got a feeling like Microsoft might try to host something outside. Because remember, Nintendo did the same thing one year. Yeah. They hosted their shit. Like, because we all complain about Nintendo, but they get the attention regardless. They get the sales regardless. Like when they do they don't even do a live press conference. They do their show, and we shit on them. But for some weird reason, when it happens with Microsoft, it's like it's taking a whole different level of like people just have no respect for them.
And also having their own show gets to control the narrative. They get to control their own narrative and how things they present. That's back to it.
How does the PC market have like double the room that Microsoft has in a video?
Size doesn't matter, guys. It's about what you present.
Yeah, because
Kinsmove did have a point. He said that they had a smaller area last year and they showed more games that had more games playable on their floor. That is true. That's facts. But at the end of the day, it's like maybe they're gonna because. Let's be real here. When you go to a Sony booth and you go to their area and Nintendo's area, they got, they really kind of have themes to their games. A lot of the section is for big statues, big show pieces that you can see what their games are.
You look at Zelda.
I mean, Nintendo Land. Remember that shit last year?
Yeah, it's crazy. They're giving out them hats, the cappies, and it was crazy.
I can definitely see them having their if they did the same thing they did last year, and still having a lot of games to be played on the floor. But that's not a good look. Like you literally look like the press release for a regular developer. You are one of the biggest publishers for games. Like you have your own platform. Like,
no, I feel you, Addict, but I'm with MG on this, man. I'm thinking that they have to have a plan in place where they're going to have their own show, and they're going to control their own net. They're going to follow. They pretty much following that Bethesda, EA Play, Ubisoft. You know what I'm saying? Kind of a script where they have their own show, and then it's like, okay, everything we talked about, yeah, you can actually, here's the playable kiosk to check it out.
Here it is.
Where's EA at? That's what I'm looking for.
They're not there either. That's my point.
Well, there's some blank spots here.
Went away too.
No, but EA isn't EA. No, EA got their own. Yeah, you're right. EA got their own joint now.
Yeah, EA's doing EA Play at Saturday, whatever.
Now,
but that is okay.
Look at Microsoft, okay?
Right.
No, I'm not trying to get on them, man.
Why you had to hourglass over like that, though? Why you had to do it like that?
Small, though.
Yeah, that is
what we are. No, you know what we are really. Okay, look, it says Tuesday's the yellow. Everything by Microsoft might be Microsoft. It's not named. It's not labeled.
Hopefully, it's theirs.
That they could literally have that whole section.
Yeah, we gotta see.
All right, how about this? What if they do their own style of EA Play, right? They do their own style, and then all of a sudden, well, yeah, you see, they got the Fan Fest. Maybe they might convert that over, do like EA Play or something similar, But what if they do announce new IPs and say, all right, guys, if you are able to attend this event, you can play, but also in the showroom floor of E3, we'll have only those specific 3 games. Like, they're just going to keep it extremely simple to the point. You go there. They're not going to show you statues. They're not going to show you the car of Forza. They're not going to do anything.
That car of Forza probably took up that whole spot. That
car of Forza is like almost $1 million.
Let's be real. A lot of third parties and a lot of companies are pulling out of E3 for financial reasons. They want to host their own space. To reserve these booths costs money. And the way
Microsoft does that shit too.
Yeah, I think that's just the new wave. If you've been looking at the last couple of years, now granted, that's a small booth, but at the end of the day,
I think the part that disappoints me is like
how little that shit is.
It's just like, look, like up here, that's bigger. Oh God, let's not even zoom in. This is worse.
But be honest too. It could possibly, like, I'm not even trying to be negative. It could also be the fact of how shitty last year's E3 was, how chaotic it was. Microsoft might be like, look, we want the majority of our press and content creator media people to join us. So we're going to host something on the side. And that little venue that they're having in there is going to be for all the people who's going to buy their passes. Because remember, last year was a clusterfuck. And to meet devs and to meet all these team people, dude, I went to Activision. I even went to some parts of Sony's area and Microsoft. And it wasn't even like the developers. It was mostly like people, I think vendors that were paid that were trained to like stand at the corner telling people what the game is about. So you never know. Like that's what I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt and wait, because if they end up doing their own thing, it might be because they want devs to get involved with everything. So they're gonna host their own thing on the side, like EA.
So basically, what you're saying is, it was like somebody selling you a freaking iPhone that doesn't work at the Apple Store.
Pretty much.
Facts.
Pretty much. That nailed it. And the fact that E3 has gone public, also we have to weigh that in as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I think 3MG, you on it. Like that's pretty much the vibe. It's a different vibe now, E3, especially like the last 2 years specifically.
Yep. And I wouldn't be surprised if before this show, because Sony did something I think that was really interesting, and this is a lot of things that, and there's a lot of reason, like I think a lot of their conferences, when you look at like certain shows, Sony and Nintendo does this, but Sony particularly did it. I remember when they showed a lot of their trailers for a lot of their games before their show, and then people was like, "Where are all the games at? They're missing games." But if you didn't watch the pre-show, you didn't see that. Maybe Xbox is gonna do something like that, where they'll say, "We'll do a pre-show and we'll show all this stuff." So show up here, and we're gonna be able to show you deeper, and we'll show you some games, we'll have some exclusives, some things you won't know about. So when we get to our big press conference, we're gonna show you the things that we really think that matter right there, but we'll show you the things we think like it would be smart for them to say, okay, Crackdown's here on the pre-show, State of Decay is here in the pre-show. Put these games we already know about in the pre-show. Don't show it on the main show again. Like, don't show Crackdown again. Don't show State of Decay again. Show us brand new stuff.
What's funny? I feel like they're going to show Crackdown again. I can almost I
think they are too, because I think it's coming after E3.
I think Crackdown is coming after E3. I think State of Decay is coming a month or two before E3.
I think it's coming before E3.
And they might actually show State of Decay, expansion or something at E3. Like, I would not surprise.
Yo, Jay Barry going hard in the chat. He said, yo, To be fair, though, Lord
He said
J.
my
Murray,
bodega, my
those
block is
other
bigger
two,
than that.
those other two spots next to it, we don't know if those
And
could
it's
very
the
well be
same day.
Microsoft.
It's the same day
Jamar, you
too. Like if you
stupid.
look at it, it's like I said. Like one thing that I did notice, man. Tell me how Square Enix is that big. What the?
They remember. So I already know what's going down. They got that Marvel that Marvel game that's dropping. They got the Kingdom Hearts.
Some big stuff they're gonna show this year. Kingdom Hearts is gonna drop this year. That's a definite. That game's gonna drop this
look
year.
Look how big Namco is. Like,
hey, look,
damn.
Hey,
like,
we might. Square Enix might surprise us with some Final Fantasy release date. People think that game is not as far as I think that game is a lot farther than people think it is. And same with Death Stranding. I think Death Stranding is a lot farther than people think it is. People just look at these games and they say, nah. And I'm like, man, these games are coming quicker than we think because it's kind of like they're going to hold some back. And I was reading something. I forgot where it was, but they're going to hold some back for the next generation of consoles. But some of these games are going to come because they've been in development too long.
How much you want to bet this whole Take-Two Interactive is just going to be a bunch of places, kiosks and stuff you could play Red Dead 2. Like the whole area is just going to be a giant kiosk to play Red Dead 2.
And they're going to have nothing but shitty vendors that don't know nothing about the game waiting
for the
nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I can say about Microsoft. Like almost every time I go to Microsoft section at E3, it's you know, if I go this year, this will be the third year I went.
That means they hosting a fruit stand.
Every year at E3, Microsoft has devs that are by their games.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. And they need people there to talk about these games. And you know, it's as bad, wasn't it? I don't want to say it's Microsoft, but I'm not for sure. Who was which company was it that had somebody sitting there, a celebrity playing a game? They didn't know what the hell was going on. Was that Sony or Microsoft? I can't remember. Like they had some celebrity sitting there playing a game, like trying to show them the game, and they were horrible. And you can tell they clearly weren't a gamer. They were just trying to bring this celebrity in or this person in.
Yeah,
who was that?
Worst. Oh,
and
man,
I remember. And it just made me so mad, and I wasn't interested in the game because I was like, "Why don't you get a gamer? Stop! Look, if you're gonna get a celebrity to play these games, let these people sit there a couple of hours before and play it." This person didn't know what the hell. I think it was a woman.
It was like two women or whatever. I don't know if they were celebrities. Actually, they're doing the crackdown, right?
Yes, it was bad.
Do we know when Microsoft's doing their conference this year?
Microsoft might be doing it again, like on a Monday or Tuesday.
I feel like they're doing it the day. I feel like they're doing it Tuesday or Monday, the late Monday. Because, like, if you look here, these buildings are scheduled. Obviously, you know they'll be open all days, but like for some reason they have them scheduled for a Monday, like these. And then if you go over here to this one, Microsoft Tuesday sections, and Sony and Nintendo are in the Monday sections. I know that probably doesn't mean anything, but that's just weird how they had they put the floor out.
A lot of it though is just like freight placement. I'm not gonna go too hard with it. But,
come on, dog.
Yeah, man. We
got you know what this section right here is going to be with Microsoft?
Scalebound
section.
Y'all savage, son.
That would be crazy if they bought the IP out. I mean, don't they own that shit? And that's why Platinum can't make the game?
Yeah, facts.
They better announce some shit because that was going to be one of the first JRPGs, dog.
Yeah, so I'm going to be closing this here in a couple minutes. Just question. I'm going to go around what's the top 3 things you think Microsoft's going to announce at E3?
Who going first? I'm going there.
We'll thinking right now.
Go first.
Oh, shit. Go
ahead.
First, the first 3 things. Oh shit, game. To be honest, it's gonna be
different. Then, what do you think they're opening it with, and what do you think they're gonna end it with? I think that's more relevant.
Okay. Ooh, that's going.
Damn, you said Scalebound. I wanna reach right now and just say they might just show Scalebound and be like, we got another.
I think that might be one of the only time I think people would go crazy, not because it's Scalebound, because I think Microsoft's the only company savage enough to bring something out again when it was supposed to be canceled. Exactly. Like they actually openly said this game is dead. I think they legitimately said that we're not doing this game. And if they came out and said Scalebound, I think that would get a positive review.
To be quite honest,
be really interesting. That would be really interesting.
No, it would. I'm honestly thinking it's going to be that Fable game that I'm hearing is in the works. And I think the 2 studios that Phil Spencer was able to acquire that they had the budget for a year and a half ago when they first announced it. So I think they're going to announce that in the beginning this year. I just don't know what games it's going to be.
People in the Master Chief said probably Halo 6 and maybe Forza.
They'll be dumb to do Halo,
I don't think Forza is going to open or close. I think it'll be in the middle somewhere.
I think they're going to open. And this is me personally. I think they're going to open with legit Anthem gameplay, and I think they're going to close with they're going to close with the Halo game, just showing this a trailer, not game, just like they did when Halo 5 was coming out. They're going to show a CG, and they're going to, they're going to talk about how it's back. And I think that's what's going to happen. That's how they're going to open and close.
There's only one thing I disagree with you with, and that's the Anthem, because right now I would have agreed if the shit didn't get delayed that has no release date. And because it has no release date and it's delayed, that opening, people are going to be like, oh, okay. And then you're going to see people on social media, well, shit, we don't even have a release date for this game yet. Like, I don't think
but I think that's the thing. I think Anthem is going to get a release date. I think it's going to be early next year, March.
Yeah, I thought the vibe that EA put out in the statement was that it was going to be like first quarter.
It's first quarter. I think
19.
Yeah,
I just figured the delay is, because some people like to continue to strike the knife where it hurts. Like, for some reason with Microsoft, it seems like they always want to attack it. If it happened with Sony or if it happened with Nintendo, okay, we move on. But for some reason with Xbox, if something gets delayed or something like that, people just keep on attacking the shit. So I feel like they might show. I'm pretty sure they're going to show Anthem, but I got a feeling I feel like they might end it with Master Chief and Halo. Like with Halo.
Yeah, I definitely think Halo.
I think they're going to open with Halo.
I don't think Halo's gonna be there. I mean, I'm probably in disagreement. Yeah, I really don't think so. I mean, they may preview it. My gut is telling me it's still not time yet. But I may be wrong. I mean, I have a couple other people saying it, but my gut is saying, like, I don't know if Halo's gonna be ready just yet, man. Well, even though it's technically the 3-year window, so to speak.
Here's the question: if they do, let's just say they ended on Halo, and let's just say they say, come in. Let's just say they show a Halo trailer, and then I don't think they'll do this. But let's just say they say, come in fall of 2019 or come in, first quarter or summer, come in like, spring 2020. Does a new Xbox come with that? You got to look at this, start thinking about.
Let me rephrase, Frog. You're right. What I meant to say is I don't mean Halo releases this year.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Now that they won't show it
at E3. Right. I think they're going to show. I have to agree with Rand. I think they're going to show off the story, and then at the end they're going to say multiplayer beta open in January to February.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I can see that.
That would be nice. I know that they're going to give Crackdown love on the show. They're going to actually show it in its finest.
That's what I'm going with.
And they're going to show State of Decay. We already know they're going to show these games. And I'm pretty sure State of Decay will be out before E3. Yeah. Me and Kid Smooth have this bet going on that, and I bet on.
Apparently, right now, man, if you have a bet with Kid, you're going to win. So
I said the bet was, I told him State of Decay is coming before Crackdown. He said, no, Crackdown is coming before State of Decay. I said, I think State of Decay is done. I said, I think it's done. I think we just haven't seen a lot, and I think they're going to pop up and they're going to say,
here's our kind of like low-key confirmed.
He low-key confirmed it.
They low-key confirmed it. Yeah, you got that, bro. That's easy bread.
And I said, the thing is, I think that Crackdown had a lot of issues just running on the primary base Xbox system. I said, that game to me seems like something like an August type game that may come out. And I said, I see State of Decay coming like right before E3. It's gonna get out of the way of God of War. It's gonna get out of the way. Like I can see State of Decay and Detroit Detroit Become Human being in the same window as releasing both of those games. And I think the best scoring game out of Sea of Thieves, Crackdown, and State of Decay is going to be State of Decay. I think that game is going to be phenomenal because everybody's going to be talking about how they're online with their friends.
People sleeping on State of Decay.
Yo, I have a question about that game because I played it. I played it before. I played the first one.
Yeah, I got it too.
The first one was kind of ass.
Yeah,
like, it was rough around the edges.
I played it very early when it first came out. I don't know if they ever did any updates or whatnot after, but yo, remember, like when I played it, so that when I see State of Decay 2, it looks much better because I'm like, yo, they must have put more work into like making the physics and the mechanics look more smoother because before State of Decay 1 was very, it was very edgy.
Very janky.
I'm hoping they did put a lot of work into that.
I think what's going to make that game big is everybody wanted multiplayer in the first one, and I think the multiplayer in the second one, playing with your friends, and it because you know what State of Decay. Now that we've gotten some of these games, bigger games, what State of Decay kind of reminds me of in a lot of ways, because I started thinking about it when I started playing Monster Hunter, and I know people were going to say no, but I started remembering like in State of Decay, people were like shooting up flares, and you can go help them out. And I was like, Monster Hunter had that vibe of like. You survival, take down this, take down that, build up this, go. And I was like, it would be smart for them to come out and just, I can see State of Decay doing very well just because the multiplayer.
I agree. Resource management, cooperative play, permadeath. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of components. So the first one was janky, but the actual gameplay system that was
I'm playing it on the Xbox One. I'm playing the definitive one. Yeah, it's real deep.
Yeah,
keep in mind, when it comes to State of Decay, they got the biggest portion that games need right the first time. It was everything else that was wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think that game has a potential to be really big. I mean, people look at the Left 4 Dead series. Like, I think graphically,
that was my joint. That was my joint. But the thing
about that game, it was so addictive because you got to play with your friends, and the way you did it, you really had to. You had to think about what you did, who has what weapon. Like that, I want that series to come back. And, it was on Xbox. I mean, like I said, Xbox back in the day, man, they had games that there were hands down no denying they were only on their platform unless you had a PC that you were like, if you knew Left 4 Dead, if you had an Xbox, you had Left 4 Dead. I know.
Tiger King said that on the Twitch show, May 5th was the placeholder date. That's kind of a weird placeholder.
See,
I did see that.
Yeah, I think May is a good month for that game. Same with Detroit. With all this stuff going on with Detroit, we'll see. I just think if any game gets cut out of every game that we can think about this year, which I don't want it to get cut, it could be Days Gone just because it has a hard time finding a place when it's coming out. But I think that mostly everything that's going to release this year is going to come out this year for the most part. As long as it's not near Red Dead. Nobody wants to be near that game. And I think it'll be fine.
We're about to hear a lot of delays. Yeah.
I think we're gonna hit
the delay season.
Just get out of October, fam. Just don't even drop on the block when October.
Nope. No game. The only game that won't delay is Call of Duty Battlefield.
No, I think you're fine if you come out before Red Dead, like 2 or 3 weeks before Red Dead, but don't come out anywhere probably 2 or 3 weeks after.
Like up that September.
Plenty of breathing.
The only things that can do that is a Battlefield or Call of Duty.
I don't even think they could do that effectively right now.
I'm gonna be real with you, Fro. I don't even think Battlefield.
They could.
Do that, man.
I mean, I think do it, and they still would sell.
I think Battlefield and Call of Duty they're gonna sell well. But I think they could do well. I just think that it's like this. It's like think about when what game came out? I think it was Fallout 4 came out real close. I want to say a Call of Duty game. I want to say it was Fallout.
Nah, it was Titanfall and Battlefield.
No. There was a game that basically came out real close to Titanfall. Not to Titanfall. It came out real close to Call of Duty. I want to say it was Fallout. And it basically it kind of hurt Call of Duty sales numbers because it was big. It was like a big deal. Matter of fact, I know what it was. Why am I tripping? Grand Theft Auto. Remember when Grand Theft Auto came out?
But no. Grand Theft Auto came out in September.
No. But no, what I'm saying is remember, it came on the PS3, then a year later it came on the current gens. But I think when Grand Theft Auto, it was either Grand Theft Auto or Fallout. One of those games came out close to, I want to say, Call of Duty. And it kind of stifled, it didn't hurt it bad, but it kind of stifled the numbers. Like Call of Duty wasn't it was a big selling game, but it wasn't the biggest selling game that year. I want to say it was Grand Theft Auto. And I don't think it was, I want to say it was part 3 because I remember Call of Duty had came out. I want to say it was Ghost. Was it Ghost?
Oh, no, I don't remember.
I think because I remember it was 1 year Call of Duty wasn't the best selling game. And I want to say it was Grand Theft Auto 5.
It was Ghost.
Yeah, I think Ghost. Ghost got outsold.
You can't put that to anything when it comes to GTA 5. You literally can't compare anything to it. It's literally beating games that only reason they're that high up there on the charts is because they've had 15 fucking installments of their game.
Shoot, or they've been out since
Tetris.
Right.
It's beating games like that by itself.
Yeah, it's killing some game numbers up there, and like they say, everybody who buys a PS4 or Xbox still buys GTA with it. That just kind of just says everybody who has one of these game systems has a Grand Theft Auto 5 with it.
All right, so have we got a pretty good understanding? I heard 3MG. What about you, Iron Lord, do you think it's still gonna? Did you give me your opening and exiting? What you think?
Yeah, I think they kind of gotta. I'm with Frog in the sense that I think State of Decay comes before Crackdown, so I say Crackdown definitely may lead off with them. There's a possibility with that, and then I think Halo 6 gets shown. I don't know necessarily. They might
Once
end.
They end with Fable.
They could.
It would have to be a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, because I like Fable, but it would have to be a big deal. Like,
what about you, Frog?
Legend of Zelda stuff. I still think they're gonna show Anthem. They're gonna show gameplay. It's gonna be scripted, of course. You're gonna hear people talking and hey, he's over there. Hey, there's a big, so forth. I think they're gonna end the conference with Halo, and they're just gonna show CG. And it's gonna be real. It's gonna be real cryptic because Halo. They kind of do that stuff. I wouldn't even be surprised. And this is. I'm just gonna throw this one out there. I wouldn't even be surprised to see 343 having a game we don't know about them developing because they keep saying they're not. But I, for some reason, think 343 is developing Halo. But I think they have something else something else different. I do think they're coming with another game. So I don't think we'll see it, but I think they'll talk about it.
Right. All right, I think
definitely Halo's coming at the end of their conference.
I think they're going to open it with Halo. I think they're going to open it with Halo, and I think they're going to end it with another IP
early. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're going to open it with Halo and end it with a new IP, or they can open it with Forza. As much as I hate to say that shit, they can.
I hope they don't. I love Forza.
That's like their standard thing.
Yeah, man, it's like Call of Duty now. Like I know it's coming. Like I don't need to see it. Like
yeah, man. Like I'm a fan of Forza. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want that shit.
Yeah, I just don't want to. Like I don't need. They
y'all want that Big Mac, large fries, and shake again.
Yeah, man. I don't need to see Forza opening again, man. Because like every year when Microsoft had the whole Call of Duty thing, they used to open Call of Duty, and you kind of knew it was gonna happen. And you're like, come on, man. Like give me something different. Like Forza's a great franchise. I think it's maybe the best racing franchise.
Remember last year, Lord Cognito, I was legitly rolling my eyes during the whole.
Yo, you was disgusted.
I was like, "Can we please get some?" I think in a Planet Xbox, I legitimately said, "I want this franchise to die." I think that's the exact sentence.
The crazy thing is, Horizon is the popular one that I kind of like too, but I am kind of sick of seeing them.
Other thing about these conferences, look, it's okay to get attractive women up there that host your conferences like EA did, but look. You can't come out with a boo-boo game with all these problems, like, and then half the time you got the people up there talking, they really aren't playing the games. They just look attractive. You got it for it's about what people's perception of the game is. Yeah. Like she didn't look like that in the game. Like I mean, her face, but as far as the way she was, like, come on, man. Like let's be real.
All right, but it's definitely good. I'm gonna go ahead and start to close this up. I just had a couple questions that people said. J-Main. I've had this segment for a minute. I just stopped doing it. Last time I did one was before E3 of last year.
Yes, you got to bring them back, baby.
Yeah, when you do podcasts consistently, like I do 2 podcasts a week. I don't like uploading shit on my channel for some reason. Like I get very frustrated. Like I'm like, well, see, I like to keep my perspective. I don't want to repeat myself 3 or 4 different times.
Right,
no doubt.
But I am when it comes to the Addict show, I did this shit before BG and Kid. This is I've been doing this for like a year and a half. The Addict show has been around for a while. I just put it on hold. I have plans I want to do for it. But I'll get more into that later. I do have the Addict Spotlight as well. But and I am actually going to do an Addict Spotlight here pretty soon.
That's what's up.
But I definitely want to appreciate everyone that came on here. So where can they find you? We're going to go ahead and start with we're going to start with Lord Cognito.
Yeah, man. Churches on Sunday, Iron Lord Podcast. My co-host, the co-most, Lord Addict, will be in the building. I'm back. We're going to talk that real gaming talk. And shout out to 3MG. Shout out to Frog for coming through, man. You know what I'm saying? Good gaming discussions, man. Always respect what y'all doing out here.
All right. What about you, Frog?
Well, If you want to, you can go ahead and find me. I have a channel on YouTube. I'm still in the works. I got about 300 something subscribers. I shout out to all the people who subscribe to me. It's Dope Gaming with Frog. I try to get there and give my opinions and topics. I try to be neutral for the most part, but sometimes when BS is BS, you have to call it BS.
To clarify, Kid Smooth is arguing it's neither with this man or it's with Jazz.
Yeah. Usually, if you catch me on Planet Xbox, I'm also on Planet Xbox with Kid Smooth. Me and Kid Smooth are going back and forth because I kind of see the glass, and I see the glass is dry a lot, and I'm like, this is an empty glass. Like, just call it an empty glass. And he's like, well, you can put water in it, yeah, but the fact that it has no water in it doesn't mean it's. So we go back. You can also find me on Twitter, and it's at Eugene _ Griffin. You can also find me on PlayStation at Frog and Pepper. You can find me on Xbox at Frog's Dreams. My Switch, I don't do too much online gaming, so. It's just, until some games come out, I'll just be kind of
until they get their network together. Give out your social security.
But that's where you can find me all those places. I always enjoy the Iron Lord podcast. I listen to everything that Inner Circle does. They're a great team. I love listening to their stuff. Really got a really great group of people. Please subscribe to these guys. They're doing some really good stuff in the community. But that's basically it.
The next one, definitely. First off, I want to give a special shout out to 3MG. Sure. People like 3MG, BG, like to be. Let's be real here. You guys shouldn't really be on this show. Like, you guys have
came down from the heavens to bless us.
I just genuinely love shows and podcasts, dog. Like that's just like it used to be. I used to enjoy watching walkthroughs and then watching gameplays, and now I just hearing gaming news and stuff and podcasts. That's like my thing, man. I don't like watching TV no more. I just like hearing a group of adults talking,
that's why at my place of employment, I rarely talk to people our age.
Bro, I don't even that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not that type of dude. But I appreciate the invite, man. Anytime you guys got a slot for me, man, just send me that invite, man.
All right,
but, most definitely.
Facts, man. But you can follow me on Twitter, 3MG Live. And I got my main channel. I call that the struggle channel because I did a bunch of fuck shit on that channel. And I got my main, I got my second channel, which is my gaming channel, which is 3MG Gaming. So if you guys want to check that out, man, I appreciate that. But appreciate the invite, man.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I appreciate everyone came by, especially 3MG Frog and Lord Cognito. Yes, I keep so first off, before I end this, man, how I gotta shout out. I'm sorry, but the Iron Lord's emblem in this chat is lit. That's sorry.
Right. It's okay. Say what you chat. Say what you chat. Say what you chat.
All right, but it's definitely been a pleasure, and I hope all of you enjoyed the show. And we'll see you. I don't know. I'm gonna do an Addict spotlight on Sea of Thieves. I don't know when yet, but I will keep posted on that.
Yeah, they got to drop some info, y'all. A lot of info just recently.
I thought I'll probably do it Thursday or Friday.
They talk about raids. They talk about
I saw that.
I'm interested. They peak